releasing karma. Old densities fade, crystals humming. Sacred grids remade, vibrational shift from 3D to 5D and beyond. Galactic family, eternal bond. Ascending now to the seventh dimension.
All right, namaste and like catch my family. How you guys doing out there across planet Earth? What's poppin'? I'm here with my brother, the one and only Mr. Joseph. Anthony, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, bro. Doing great. Looking forward to this.
Yo, 2026 predictions. I gotta talk to the pro here and everyone out there across the planet. Pleasure to meet you. Rion here, TeamLight headquarters here in Sedona, Arizona. And there's been so many new things popping up. I got a pretty cool image to show you guys, by the way. I pulled off the feeds yesterday. But there's a lot of financial changes, a lot of energetic changes going on right now. And I think I'm gonna let my brother open up. I know he's the master of all the astrological things that are going on, my brother Joseph. But we'll go back and forth and share some of our insights. And the year of the fire horse approaches. Without further ado, Joseph, what up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Doing good. Getting a lot of messages, a lot of downloads. And of course, I focus on the astrology because that's really tangible. You can see the alignments, we could understand them and all that. But the intuition has been going through the roof. I don't know if you know, but, I've been in my RV for the last 3 years, basically around the country. And when you spend that kind of time by yourself, you're getting a lot of information. You're connecting with the source and you get information out of nowhere. And so this is what's been coming to me. And that's what we're going to discuss today. But the astrology today, every astrologer knows that this is a special year. Not only are we in a 1 year fire horse energy, it's all symbolism. But the alignments of the outer planets are very special because we've never had all the outer planets change in like a year and a half. They've all switched signs and they've all switched signs at the different elements, fire and air, which is about action and new innovation and new communication and technology. So we're looking at a very special year, no matter how you slice it, whether it's the astrology, whether it's, the dimensions collapsing and changing, because that's also what's really happening is energy is intensifying and we're starting to feel it. And this is all part of these changes. It's the Great Awakening, as many of us have said over and over again. No matter how you slice it, you're becoming more aware of who you are and your place in this universe, and that you're not bound by this physical suit. You're much more than your physical suit. And so we're starting to see it.
I couldn't agree more with that statement, my brother. So, we'll go back and forth. What I'm getting right now is this morning when I woke up, I was with my guides and they were running me through all of my emotional processing and programming that obviously many of us go through this process when we wake up. You have to process say it's your childhood, your middlehood, and then, your young adulthood, and now your adulthood, right? Well, here's the thing. As the frequencies go up on this planet, your ability to manifest is also going to increase. However, controlling your thoughts is very important and actually what drives you. Your emotional state is going to be the amount of force or frequency that it's emanating from your heart, right? Your organs, your chakras, and your actual energetic field. So what you guys will notice in dream time and in the morning, you guys might keep getting reminded of the past or how you feel about certain people. It could be friends, family, partners, ex-partners, children, right? Whatever that may be for you, bosses. And what they're going to do is run you through a simulation, all night long. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have this weird feeling like, why do I feel weird? And why are you forcing me to do this shit again? I thought I was integrated, right? No, what they're doing is that some of us are going to be gifted a lot of abundance. And I'm going to share that with you a little bit later in the broadcast. I have some cool image to show you about what's coming. But what it is, so if we woke up in abundance right now, what is your emotional state? Are you happy? Are you joyful? Do you feel like you're going to be in your purpose? Or are you distracted, right? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on the planet right now, ladies and gents, and our environment does play a vital role, a pivotal role in that. Have you made the proper decisions to position yourself in a place where you can kind of ride this out as we are literally watching the principalities of on this planet battle it out? My thing is that to stay on the path, to not let fear, paranoia, or doubt slow you down. However, think about that like a bowl of cereal. If you put all of your fears, it could be a bowl of oatmeal for you. Let's put all of your fears, doubts, and how you were raised, right, in a bowl of cereal, right? And or a bowl of oatmeal, whatever it is for you, that's healthy for all my fellow, healthy people out there. Listen, you put that in front of you and you're sitting there in front of God's glory. And you're like, how are you integrating? And you're like, childhood memories. You're like, yeah, I'm processing that. How you were treated growing up. Yeah, no, processing that. How do you feel about the political system? You're like, chewing on some of that. Hey, how do you feel about the fact that you've been lied to since you incarnated? Oh, yeah, I'm chewing on that. That was really delicious. My thing is that you're not giving it any energy. You're literally in observer mode with your eye on the prize. You are not jumping into the bowl of cereal to see how everything else or how all your friends are that maybe didn't wake up are doing. You're sitting outside of this bowl of cereal, looking at it going, do I wish to process this today? Yes or no? That's mastery. When you zoom out and you have a choice of what I want to process today or how I wish to feel today, right? Flipping that switch, it could be turning on your most favorite music, lighting your incense, getting out in the sun. I know it's frozen over most of North America right now, right? This may be the time, instead of being kind of depressed, because I get like that in Sedona, I'm staring out the window and I'm like, I feel like I'm trapped in my house right now. This is horrible. No, that could be the time to make some music. Bake something, make something, draw something, work on that script you've been working on, or that short story, or, whatever it may be for you. It may be time to go, hey, you know what? I thought I was just going to stare at Netflix all day. Instead, I'm going to not be, programmed. I'm going to go in my office, in my studio, and I'm going to work on what I've been pushing off over and over and over again. Today may be that day for you. Brother, how do you feel about that?
Oh, you're right on the money. What I've been getting intuitively, and the dreams have been very vivid. Oh my God, they've been so strong. But what I've gotten is that basically timelines are collapsing or they're compressing. That's how I was shown. And what that means is, because there's no such thing as time, in our own consciousness, there's an acceleration that's happening. So the past, present, and future are all basically colliding. And so this is what the past is all about. And the astrology is beautiful for this, because when we have Mercury retrogrades or lunar eclipses, or we have planets in, let's say, water signs, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, we tend to go back. We tend to go in our subconscious. We are on that timeline to the past, and we're reliving a lot of the emotions. We're reliving a lot of the experiences. But that's normal, because remember, it's all running simultaneously. So right now, what's actually about to take place this year is, from this point forward, and I've talked about this in my community, how the energy is only going to go up. And that means more frequency coming in, hitting the earth, hitting our bodies, vibrating at a higher pace, especially in February. February, we have a solar eclipse. And what that means is the timeline about the future and the present are going to accelerate big time. And so if you thought that this energy was uncomfortable now, it's only going to go up. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in as a conscious way. We are becoming more aware of the frequencies. We are becoming more aware of the other dimensions and realities. And so what we're going to start doing is letting go of some of that emotional trauma as we work through it. Saying, all right, I had to go through that from my experiences and to learn what that was all about. Remember, folks, we're in these physical suits because we chose to be here, number one. Number two, we are here to experience everything we need to experience. That's the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, whatever. It doesn't matter. Because we have a physical suit, we're able to experience that, what we need to experience. But once we leave that physical suit, we are no longer bound by the physics of this suit and this reality. Then we're basically just floating around. We go back to the stars. But my point being is that this is a time. This is a transitional period. As we're doing this video at the end of January, this entire year is a transitional period. The entire year is about transitioning from the old into the new. And that means frequencies, that means consciousness, that means monetary systems, that means political theater and how that's changing, the power structures of the planet. And so the thing that the so-called people that are, or beings that are controlling this planet or influencing it, however you want to see it, is that they fear humanity's wake up. Okay. That means collectively, if we start awakening, all of us, as many as possible, and start saying, no, we're not playing your games anymore. No, we're not going to we're not going to feed into your low frequencies. No, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to follow your organized religion because you're basically just, brainwashing us. We're going to do this. We're going to go in this direction. And the more of us that do that, that start breaking away, they have no more control. And it starts with you. Like Rion said, it starts with you. It's within you, realizing, processing information and emotions and everything else you've gone through. It's just experiences. Don't feed into the fears. Don't feed into anxiety and stress about the future. Oh my God, am I going to make enough money? Oh my God, am I going to have this? It's a waste of energy. Stay centered. That's my key. The key is stay centered. Yes. Nature, absolutely. Rion, you're right on the money. I go out every day for a walk, whether it's cold or not.
Yep.
Get out into the sun. You need the sun. You need those vibes. And so you got to do the little things to keep you moving and motivated. So that's my take on all of it.
No, 100%. If we're going to get into the nitty gritty, we're just warming up, ladies and gents, from here to South Africa. Asia, love you. All my homies out there in Asia and Australia, all my Aussies, UK, Canada, States, everyone, listen. Here's the deal. Everyone right now is going to get moments, and everyone feels it in the morning where there's a moment there. It could be 8:30 in the morning for you. It could be earlier than that. It could be 10 a.m., 10:30 in the morning. This is what's happening to me. There's a moment where I get a surge of energy, especially in the wintertime. It's hard to like, let's get it going, So I'm sitting there and I get a surge of energy, and try to get used to this. Have if it's cold outside, I get it. Have your robe or your jacket or your boots right there where you wake up and have your coffee or tea. And you're like, yo, I feel like a surge of energy. I'm just going to go outside and get a breath of fresh air, stand outside for a second, get in the sun for a second. The days and the time seems to be so accelerated right now. You will blink. It'll be now. It'll be 3 o'clock. It'll be 5:30. The sun's down. It's 9 o'clock. What happened to the day? And it's happening over. It's like Groundhog Day, right? I feel like we're all on the Truman Show. What's happening is there's times where we're beginning to process and see time almost emotionally, almost energetically. Sometimes time will slow down for us. And sometimes we're just on the fast forward button. You remember the VCRs back in the day? I know you do, Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
Where you just hold the button down. This is and fast forward this shit because no one wants to watch it. And I feel like all of us are just fast forwarding till tomorrow. The thing is this. Yes, tomorrow is going to bring greater fruits because we've all kind of been, since we incarnated here on this timetable where we felt as starseeds, angelics, Gaia's kids, right? That someone else had the playbook and we never agreed with them in the first place. Why do we have to watch this? It's ridiculous. Hence the political theater. But what I can tell you is that for the first time in a very long time, I do feel a spark of change that is coming. And I have to hold on to that hope, ladies and gents, Believe me, people that don't know me, I am the most sarcastic little shiza you've ever met. Especially like imagine seeing your higher selves and then talking trash. Okay, I can touch my higher self and point at them. You feel me? What I'm getting to is this. They're like, hey, patience. There's a lot going on the earth. There's a lot of moves being made. You guys are staring. A lot of people are just staring at one dimension being shifted. It's beyond their comprehension to imagine the entire board in the multiverse is shifting. So it's not just this dimension in the physical that is changing, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. The entire ordinance of your oversoul is being adjusted. These higher frequencies are going to force purge the lower frequencies from being on our plane. As we rise, they can no longer hold on to you. They detach, you keep going up. So it's almost like we're at the bottom of the ocean. Imagine we're 30 feet down in the ocean and we finally push off the bottom. Well, here's the thing. All the little bottom feeders that were used to hanging out on your ankles, chewing on your fingernail or whatever that is, your toenails, just kind of living between your toes. All of a sudden you push off the ground and you start going towards the surface. All of them were not created or made in the frequency of where we're going. We were created from source. We came down from the higher dimensions to experience the physical. There are a lot of things down here running around that don't have the same soul energy, output, and experience game. Let's just say some of us have. And the reason why this game I feel can be so frustrating is that some of us are very old. This is not our first ascension. This is not the first time we've been on a planet going through this. This is not our first physical experience. It's just that maybe the last time we were here was 10, 15, 30,000 years ago. Or maybe we had an ascension in the Pleiades, or Andromeda, or Alpha Centauri. Maybe some of us come and our soul essence comes from different locations. We're here together because many of us were called to this particular point in time to assist in our timeline, to make sure that we have a choice in the future of the timeline we wish to walk on. And I know my brothers, talks about this all the time too, but are we going to choose a more organic based life form? Or are we going to choose a more technological, artificial based life path? My thing is that, being in the middle, I would like to rock the organic 100,000%. And then if I want to interact with technology, I would do it just like the Palladians, where they would put on their bracelets, or they put on their little ear cuff, or they have their little cuff here, or they use their anklets, or I would use technology that's outside of my body. Why? Silence. Being able to hear my own thoughts, of which my oversoul wishes to share with me. Not some nerd AI ether program, okay? Not some otherworldly thing. I want to be able to communicate with my soul. Any technology that takes me out of communicating with my heart and my soul, hey, I don't want the first thing I hear in the morning is, "How are you doing, sir? There are a lot of things that you need to focus." I don't need any of that. I just don't. If I need to first, and this population first needs to go, "How am I feeling today? I'm feeling glorious. How are the angelics doing?" Like there's something in me that's like, I need to feel my inner child, my peace, and my solitude first before I interact with everything in the universe. Because if you can't separate that silence, that peace, that source, that soul, what happens is you can no longer determine whether that's an artificial thing trying to communicate with you or if that's actually your soul. And that's what's going on here with this 5G and 6G technology. 6G is scanning everyone's energy signature. And there is something going on at Whole Foods in Sedona, Arizona right now. There is something going on inside of Whole Foods across North America. Hey, Bezos, we're on you like white on rice. There is some sort of frequency they are pumping through Whole Foods, probably nationally, where I think they're already scanning the population inside of these locations. Hence, they already have the mark of the beast at the checkout Do you just want to do your face print or use your chip at the checkout? Go look at it. What I'm trying to say is that some of us are hyper aware. I'm already paying attention to this stuff. So how do you feel about that, Joseph? I mean, my thing is that I need my own peace, because if I can't calm my nervous system down, then it's easy to get me riled up. If I can't control my internal constitution, right, then I will always be in a state of fear, anxiety, confusion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Everyone needs to feel their own soul, and then if they choose to, then they can interact. That's how I feel. Brother, how do you feel about that?
I totally agree. I see it when I go to Walmart. You notice all the cameras and the videos, and it says you're being recorded down this aisle. So I totally agree with you that, the AI system has been rolled out actually years ago. And what people have to understand, and this is the battle that's going on right now, we have a control system on this planet, and not to get too conspiratorial here, but, because we're going to talk about what's really going on in 2026. But what I discovered going down the rabbit hole of truth is that we already have some sort of very sophisticated AI system. We call it the matrix, you call it the simulation, whatever you want to call it, that's controlling this planet or these lower frequencies or densities. It's already in place. And many have written about it. Many have known about this system. Okay. What we're doing in this particular year and beyond is trying to break free from that system and controlling it instead of it controlling us. And that is the big battle going on right now, is that, as we roll out this new AI system, which I love technology too, but I'm not going to let it run my life. And you're absolutely right, Rion, that basically in the morning, the first hour is the most important time for you to realign, to meditate, to awaken, to become more aware. And this is why it's highly important that you go out in nature. What I like to do is go by the window where the sun is on my RV here. And I sit there and I let that energy soak in for a bit, because that is how you start your morning. You realign with the natural world. But getting back to this AI system, the AI system that they're rolling out, which they've had for a while, is trying to basically take in as much information as possible. But the problem is there are multiple AI systems running simultaneously. Just like we have multidimensional beings, multiple energy fields, we have an AI system that's battling another AI system. And this is the danger that a lot of the high-tech people have been talking about, the ones that invented AI, that have been trying to control it. And I've listened to many hours of these folks talking about, I've tried to change the code. I've tried to, get in there and move it around, but it's not working. And so my point being is the only way we could stop this AI is by you and I and everyone listening to my voice and Rion's voice and, that wants to listen, awaken to who you really are. Number one, you're a spirit, you're an energy in the suit, having a temporary experience in this reality at this time. And here's the magic. Here's the thing that most people don't really understand. You chose to get back into a suit. Let me repeat that. You and I and everyone listening to me chose to come back into the suit. You were brave enough to say, hell yeah, I'm going to go back down into that freaking mess and try and do my best to make a difference. So that's how brave you are. That's how strong your soul is. So, when I hear people going, I'm not sure, maybe I don't make enough money, I don't know. You forget that. That's your mind playing games on, with you. You have to realize you're a much more powerful spiritual being than you could imagine. So this year is giving us that opportunity, especially in February, March, April, and then again in July and August. Now I'm saying this as an astrologer because the energy and the frequencies change in those time frames. February is going to be off the charts. April is going to be off the charts. And what Rion was talking about, humanity, in astrology, humanity is represented by Aquarius, the water bearer. It's a symbol that represents, knowledge, wisdom, energy coming from space or coming from other realities. And so with Pluto now in the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto represents transformation, death and rebirth, a rebirth of some kind that's going on, we are going to see a lot of people awakening. And I mean, I see it all the time. I hear the comments. Oh my God, I can't believe I believed in that. This is the kind of common theme that's going to continue to occur around the world as humanity wakes up. The problem we're going to run into, friends, is that many people want the old system, In other words, the safety and security and how things work. And, they want stability. But we're entering a time where the energy is very high. I'll give you an example. Let's just say you own a car. It's a 1980 Buick or something like that. It's a great car, very reliable, get you from point A to point B. All of a sudden, 2026 and beyond comes in, and you're offered a car like a Ferrari. And now you have a choice. Do you get back into that Buick and take the safety and security, or do you get into this more high-tech vehicle that's much faster? It's going to be edgier. It's going to be a little bit more dangerous. It's going to be, more of an acceleration in your own personal life. So this is what we're up against. We're up against, a higher frequency, higher awareness, information that's coming in at lightning speed. And yes, timelines are collapsing, which means time is going to collapse at some point in the future, not too far away, 20, 30, 40 years from now. It'll feel like the day is much shorter. And that's because of the frequencies collapsing. And this is normal. This is absolutely normal because we're dealing with higher density, higher frequencies. And all we could do is try and absorb that information and not overthink. Here's the key, friends. This brain is wonderful. It is a decoder. But the more information you put into it, it gets overwhelmed. There's too much information. And what I like to say is, how many of you know, have seen people that go to mental institutions and they have to be given drugs in order to calm them down? Many of those people are not crazy. They just don't have the capacity to slow the energy and the information coming into their minds and their bodies. So they lose their sense of reality. That's what's happening to us. We are being bombarded by too much information, especially online, the conspiracy stuff, the political stuff. I mean, the people are hooked on the political theater like junkies. I hate to say it, and I catch myself doing it sometimes too. And I have to just, go, okay, I got to go do something else. I need to balance this. And so we are being overwhelmed by a lot of information. I'm just providing the timelines. I'm just saying, hey, look at this timeline here, or many astrologers or psychics or remote viewers, whatever name you want to give us. We're all basically doing a very similar thing, or a numerologist. We're all looking at different frequencies. We're looking at different patterns, and we're saying, hey, pay attention over here because this timeline is going to accelerate things. And I promise you, friends, February is off the charts because of the eclipse, because of the outer planet alignments. And again, for those of you that understand astrology, great, or numerology, but you have to understand these are just symbolic systems for understanding patterns, energies, cycles. That's all they are.
Yes.
Okay. And you need to use them. Okay. It's like a roadmap. If you're going to go from point A to point B, you want to know what road to take. And that's all it is. That's all it is.
No, 100. I couldn't agree more. With some of the stuff, and that, we can talk about more of the things that are current right now, especially today. And then I would like to hear, Joseph, what are some timeline jumps, or what are some opportunities you think with disclosure that will take place? I'd like to hear your input on that as the planets align. But I wanted to show you guys this. I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me add this to the stage. There's our fearless leader, right, Mr. T. And I wanted to show you guys something on the circle on the right-hand side. That is the Iraqi dinar on his desk right there. And that was taken 2 days ago, I believe. So for all you guys that are part of the RV and the financial reset, pay attention to that. That was taken about 3 days ago. For all you Iraqi dinar holders, by the way, I am not a financial expert. This is my humble opinion. I just wanted to let you guys know. If you guys don't know, that popped up. I know that Trump has been on camera saying that, the United States holds around 35, I believe, billion dollars worth of Iraqi dinar. And the news reporter asked him, well, how are we going to get, what does that do for us? I'm like, oh, well, we're over there right now and we'll leave when we get back our money, when we get paid. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we helped them build their airport and their new port. So their new airport and port are brand new, the state of the art in Iraq. And that entire, the Saudi Arabia with its price of $3.46 to $1 and this artificial deflation of their currency since the Iraqi war in 2001. This shift, I believe, will happen in 2026. And I believe it's a lot closer, right, So we are out. Absolutely. We are out. So pay us. Look, Baja girl, you know what's up. And we left. I know it's like 3 or 4 days ago. They're like, we're out of there. So I'm just trying to say for everyone out there that haven't really heard about this, pay attention. Some of you guys that have been waiting, some of you guys 10, 20 years for this. And so I want some of you guys pay attention. That's on the table. And there's nothing that Mr. T doesn't do that has some sort of symbolism. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. There's some other financial things too, obviously with the VND. They're trying to get the Bolivar. Again, this is my humble opinion. I'm not a financial expert, but there's also the Venezuelan Bolivar, if that's going to revalue, right? So the Venezuela is the third largest oil producer on the planet. Okay, Venezuela. There's also something with Valero pulling out of California. I think that has to do with a lot of things. What I'm getting to with this political theater, which my brother Joseph brought up, in Davos, there's a hot mic between Trump and one of the Canadian prime minister. And when they were talking back and forth, you guys ever seen a WWE match where they pretend like everyone's their enemy? And it was like the prime minister of Canada was like, hey, did I do a good job? And Trump's like, hey, you did good. At least I didn't call you a governor. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, guys, but this is so political theater. What's going down with Greenland? What's going down with Venezuela? What's going down with this whole thing with the Monroe Doctrine? This is all playing out, and I believe all of these world leaders have already decided to how this thing's going to roll out. Okay, so I'm just trying to say for all you guys that are watching glued to the television to get that answer, you might want to fall back on some of the other news sources out there, different types of journalism to actually pay attention to have people actually break this thing down for the public, because they're not going to tell you on, the mass media. They're never going to tell you about, oh yeah, by the way, there's a huge financial abundance coming in. They're never going to tell you that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is all political theater, and this thing's, and they're going to slowly roll this thing out for everyone. So the people that can really kind of get it. And I just want you guys to pay attention to that, because I do see a financial revolution inbound. Talking about the ISO 222 cryptos, I would not sell them. I'm right now, and I'll be right in 100 years. Don't sell your ISO 222 compliant cryptos. I think, be humble with your purchases. Don't purchase things that, that you're super relying on. But my thing is that every single time I look at my bank and I see, USD, I'd rather buy silver. I'd rather buy gold. I don't see any interest in really having certain monies in banks right now. And I mean, well, the interest rate 6% to buy something, we're going to give you 1% in a savings account. Like, well, what sense does that make? You're not going to get rich by putting your money in a bank. So just think about how you can lead. Obviously, I'm being, to be humble and frugal. Keep what you need to get all the bills paid and, to plan, and, don't be crazy with your money. Be stable, but do not rely on certain things. Everyone should be kind of turning their thinking hats on and paying attention to certain avenues that are opening up right now. Especially there's companies that are coming out right now to counter the Chinese metals market and the rare earth minerals. There are different things that are popping up in my feed that I'm paying attention to. Mine is Pelosi's trading platforms. I mean, she's one of the best out there. You know what I mean? Hey, if you're beating Berkshire Hathaway, it's almost like you have inside information. But, I digress. What I'm trying to say is for everyone out there, you can make small, humble movements every day. It could be $5, $10, $15, $20. But what I'm trying to say is open your mind to opportunities. Okay? This is not the same world that our parents grew up in. This is not the land of 401k. I just have to be completely honest with you. We are no longer living in that world. So for all you guys that are my age, maybe a little younger, that realize that you have 2 degrees and you can't get a job, you're a PhD and a master's and you can't get a job, pay attention to how the money is moving across the planet. Watch the Davos interviews. Watch what companies are involved. Pay attention, because the mass media is never going to teach you guys how to be successful. You have to do it yourself. And I know, brother, you've been self-taught your whole life. I mean, probably even with astrology. How do you feel about some of the financial changes coming, especially when the year of the fire horse fires off? And what is that, February 22nd? When is that?
It's the beginning of February. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
February. Yeah.
9th or 10th or somewhere around there. But you're right on the money when you're talking about finances. I've been talking about this for years, that what I saw coming, from the astrology and my own, tuning into this, is that we were going to have multiple currencies running simultaneously for a while. What that means is the dollar is not going to completely collapse, but it'll kind of be worthless, as it is right now. This is why gold and silver are going up. And by the way, like you said, none of this is financial advice. It's just common sense. But I will give you a little tip at the end of this little speech here to help you guys out. But basically, the new digital system is trying to be implemented. That means the cryptocurrency. And there are many big corporations now that are willing to take cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and some other currencies. And so, yes, if you do have current cryptocurrencies, hold on to them, take them off the platforms, do what you can to keep them safe. Yes, I agree with the money in the banks. That's freaking a waste of money because, inflation is eating away at your money. Now, as far as the astrology goes, okay, well, let me get back to the gold and silver for a second, because that's very important. Obviously, the prices are going up, and I do see them going up even higher, especially gold and silver. I mean, there's other metals that will be important, like copper, platinum, palladium. All of that stuff is going to be, in the background. But the bottom line right now, when it comes to finances, if you do have any form of savings, or you have a house or land or something like that, things of real tangible, that are physical, that you could hold on to. And if you don't have any gold and silver, my suggestion would be whatever your net worth is. The rule of thumb is usually 10 to 15% in actual physical gold and silver. I'll give you an example. You have 100,000 in the bank account, which I do not suggest, but you want $10,000 to $15,000 in actual gold and silver. What that does is it's an insurance policy. As gold and silver prices go up, the currency gets devalued. So this is what we're witnessing right now. Eventually we're going to go to a store and buy a loaf of bread and it's going to cost $30. That's inflation. But the gold and silver will go up, just as much, and will retain the value of your money. That's how it works with the currency. But we're going to continue to see highs with gold and silver this year because the dollar is collapsing. What that means is nobody wants to use it anymore around the world. Nobody wants to buy our treasuries. Nobody wants to, take on our debt. Nobody wants to use it as the petrodollar. So this is a massive change. This is an area that is absolutely going to affect everyone. It's going to affect food prices. It's going to affect delivery of goods, oil, everything. So yes, we're going to go through a little bit of an uncomfortable period, friends. I hate to say it, and I've been saying it for years to my members. I said we're going to have a little bit of a bumpy ride for a while. It's not going to be smooth sailing. At some point, it will be. Things will straighten themselves out. We have a better picture of what's going on financially and with distribution networks and all that other stuff. But we have to participate. We have to sort of prepare psychologically and physically, so protect what you have. Now, here's my little tip for many of you. In astrology, and this is where it's going to get really interesting. In July and August, when the sun goes into Leo, Leo is a sign that is associated with gold, okay? And the moon is associated with silver, okay? In August, on August the 12th, there's going to be a solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. So what do you think is going to happen to gold prices, my friends? They're going up. So it's not financial advice. I'm just telling you that the price of gold is going to go way up. And silver will continue its slow pace up into the hundreds. And so this is because these are going to be in demand. So, we have to stay informed. We have to be smart about all this. We have to just pay attention. And like Brother Rion said, you've got to listen to alternative sources and real information, not the dog and pony show of mainstream media. The people I love is people like Catherine Austin Fitz. This woman was in the trenches until they threw her under the bus, and she talks about money. So if it's financial well-being, you want to listen to her. What is she saying about what's going on? She was on Wall Street, but she's a truther now. She's come to understand how the system really works. So from that side, from that vantage point, what we have from about April all the way into the summer months is this major transition that's going to take place with the financial system. And it's not going to be telecast. It's not going to be broadcast on the news, because even the so-called white hats or good guys or whatever you want to call them, if they make that announcement, it's going to collapse economies. So they have to do it in a quiet way. They have to do it behind the scenes. They don't want to stir up investors. They don't want to cause chaos, especially with the general public. So I would say between April of this year, that's when we're in tourist season, which has to do with money and values and food, and all of that stuff is associated with Taurus. As we go into August, the Great Reset or the financial changes, I think, are going to be more evident. That means either gold and silver prices start skyrocketing, prices of goods in stores may go up. That's it's very possible, friends. So I'm just warning you guys, because it has to happen. And then we astrologers see at the end of the year, when Venus goes retrograde. I know nobody likes that word, retrograde, just means going back. But it's going to be retrograde, and Mercury is going to be retrograde simultaneously, going from October into November. There's a major speed bump over there because of the retrogrades of both planets. We can expect a slowdown, a reevaluation, a crossroads. We're scratching our heads going, what the hell are they doing? Where is this financial move going? It's going to be all kinds of stuff going on there.
No, I couldn't agree more. Again, with the political theater, the main thing I feel for us is, we knew these days would come. I feel there's 3 generations right now waiting for a transfer, right? Like 3, I would say Gen Z, Gen X, the millennials, and the kids right now, right? So here's my thing for us, kind of shepherding the younger generations. I feel as this financial change takes place, I can only share with you what my interpretation of that is, and what my guides have told me. And there is some responsibility for some of you. If I'm speaking to you, you know exactly who I'm talking to. There is some responsibility to take care of the kids, take care of the young ones, show them a better way, shield them from some of this polarity that we older generations have experienced. Creation is something that comes effortlessly from our creator source. These lower dimensional polarized distortions simply seeks to copy and take up your time and take you off your path. I think keeping things very simple is going to be the best way to be sturdy and strong in these times. When the financial abundance does hit, obviously you guys purchase your nice home, your place of solitude, start looking at land, start looking at where you want to build certain things. There will be groups of us that will be working with different companies. I'm really a huge fan of the 3D printing technologies, whether it be Cobod or Icon. I see us designing cities or designing things in a more elegant and organically beneficial way. I see kids being born in these locations free from distortion, free from being poisoned, free from a lot of the things. And I guess you guys, what Joseph said, the main fear of some of these controlling factions on this planet, these principalities, what they're truly scared of is you guys waking up and reclaiming your sovereignty, reclaiming your free will, realizing how this game was actually originally set up, realizing that what you think about is what you manifest, realizing that if you put 1,000 people in a beautiful city of light and all these people think about all day is manifesting beauty for the planet and they have the resources to do that, watch out. We will go past these beings like they are standing still, like they are VCR on pause, standing on a curb in 1977, lost. That's how fast and that's how much energy is going to fly through this planet. It is something that is incomprehensible to someone in the Matrix. They will not realize by all of these beings in these groups, how do they have all of their abilities turned on? And you're going to ask the kids in these generations to come, they're like, I was born with them on, they never turned off. This is how I came here. I came here telekinetic. I came here telepathic. I came here remembering all my dreams. I came here with memories of my past. No, I wasn't poisoned when I was born. No, I didn't take 25 injections, with mercury and all kinds of weird shit, formaldehyde. You know what I mean? No, I am, who I am, truly. So for all of this going through these times together, that's why. These beings know we don't need them. That's their fear. We don't need any of these controlling factions. None of them. So that's why they're scared. They know we don't need them, bruh. So that's what's up. So for all those guys out there that are wondering why that fire is burning inside of your tum-tum, the day is quickly approaching. So for all you guys getting your, crossing your T's and dotting your I's, hey, might be time to go through your house and do a house cleaning. Might be time to steam clean those carpets. Might be time to start getting locations where you're going to move. For you guys that hold currency or hold, silver or gold or whatever, might be time to open up your journals and your notebooks and go, where are we moving if this hits? What are we doing? You guys, maybe it might be time to get your homework assignment out and start looking at it. Okay. Because I feel that inside of myself, some of us have been prepared for this since before the coup in 2020 in the United States. There's a lot of us that are just waiting here in the background, and our time is quickly approaching. So for all you guys out there on Earth, pay attention. Things are about to go down and change, and it's not a shock and awe campaign. Ladies and gents, we're going to be very grounded in what we want to share. And a lot of that we are going to share at Rise of the Guardians, May 8th through the 10th, 2026. My brother Joseph has been invited. He's a globetrotter. He's like, hey man, I got different places I gotta be, but I invited my brother, the one and only Joseph Anthony, and I want you guys to know to kind of like just trust. You got to meet the universe halfway. You got to go and get a little bit of currency. You got to get a little bit of gold and silver. You got to get your little bit of crypto, whatever that may be for you. What I'm trying to say is you have to make an effort towards your change. If financial freedom is what you seek, are you doing little changes to work towards that? Because, I think that's really crucial, right? To at least be, on the ball and understand why things are happening and understand and have done the research on why changes are going to happen in a certain direction. So I think that was the confusion for a lot of us is, why is it taking so long? Who is altering the timelines? You know what I mean? The confusion is, why are we still waiting? Right? So to counter that, I would just say, once we have all of our ducks in a row, to think about how fast we can manifest and how quickly we can spread that light across the planet. So that's how I feel. It's like a bungee cord, especially the last 5 or 6 years. You slowed us down, and here comes this bungee cord coming back. And then when that thing lets go, it's going to be all hands on deck. So at least that's how I feel. And I think silver and gold, those are very good things. I do think some of the currencies are going to make some magic. I really do. I think there's a lot of things going on in these cloud accounts. There's a lot of things going on. If you guys have heard about the dragon families and the cloud accounts and who actually truly controls the true wealth on this planet, and how when the entire banking system was brought into the digital world or computerized in the early 70s, late 60s, right? Whatever thing was late 60s. Only 30% of the world's wealth was ever brought into Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. 70% of the world's wealth was never brought onto the ledger. So when people are going, where's all this money coming from? You've been playing with 30% of the world's wealth. Your parents only played with 30% of the world's wealth. Your grandparents felt a little bit of what financial sovereignty was when we still had gold and silver currency, especially the change and stuff. We've never experienced that. Your grandparents did. So there's something coming, and I'm just trying to say, get ready. How do you feel about that, Joseph?
Well, I've been saying for years, we're going to be in the wild west of currencies, because we've never experienced this before. We haven't had the technology today to intervene in our in our financial means and resources. Now, if you see what's happening with the big globalist companies, I mean, they're buying up all kinds of properties, farmland, they're getting into crypto. They know what's coming because they're directing it, and so they've united in order to control everything, resources, land, you name it. Now it's time for humanity to wake up. And what I mean by that is, find your tribe, find the people that are on the same frequency. And Rion is correct, because I've been saying this for years, that when you find your tribe, you begin to unite the energies, the frequencies, and you begin to build something. And what you're building is a community of light. And these communities do exist around the world already, in some of the so-called third world countries in South America. We have, we have people that are living off the land, all that stuff. But what they're doing is they're holding a higher frequency. And now it's time for America to experience that here in the States, because we are going through a revolution. The astrology is indicating a massive revolution that's taking place in the United States, a great awakening, if you will, because that's what's really happening. And we are going to see all these new opportunities before us. But let's make no mistake, we have to be grounded in reality, gold, silver, food, water, all that stuff. But yes, when the new financial system hits, it will be a free-for-all. People are going to be running to one thing or another, but just keep in mind the idea of, keeping the right people around you. And yes, land is going to be very important. I've been advocating it now for a couple of years. Get together with your family or friends who have some money, pitch in, get, 20 or 30 investors together and say, hey, listen, we're going to look at this piece of land here and we're going to put, let's say, tiny houses on it. We'll put in a well and we'll start growing our own food. That is kind of what we need, while we see this transition through. We see how the new system is implemented, while we see, the new financial system, the distribution networks, the political theater, much of it's going to dissolve, and how this new AI system is going to play into all of it. So what I'm getting at is it's a transitional period. These next few years, from now until 2029, is a major transitional period for all of us on this planet. So it's a matter of whether you want to participate in it or you don't. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm planning, I've got land, I've got resources, I got stuff that I could use. And you need to unite with those people that are on the same level, because this is what's coming. There's no stopping this wave of awakening one way or another. The other thing, and Brother Rion knows about this, the physical changes that are going to continue to happen to the earth. We haven't seen anything yet, unfortunately. What that means is that as this energy hits us, it also hits the earth and the magnetic fields. And we're going to see some stranger weather in the coming years. And I think that's going to happen more in the 2030s, 2032, 2033. And I'm not saying it's all over the world, but we may see some changes to the Earth's magnetic field and into stranger weather patterns and stuff like that. So it's just another way of preparing for stuff that's coming our way. We are absolutely in a new timeline, a new paradigm shift, and it starts this year, and it's going to be escalating and moving a lot faster speed after April of this year. It's going to be like we've been energized. We've been, okay, I know what I need to do. I know where I need to go. I need to do this, this, and this. And that's really what's going to happen. It starts lightly in February, but in April, it just skyrockets, all the way through the summer months. And then we have a slowdown in the fall period, as I said, with the Venus and Mercury retrograde, where we're scratching our heads going, okay, what do we need to do next? This is how the cycles work. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. It's just common, And so you're there to stay in the middle, stay centered, and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I plan. And like Brother Rion said, we are manifesting at a faster rate. I mean, the stuff that's happening to me, I'm like blown away. I'll have a thought and all of a sudden it appears. That's how fast it's happening, So we are definitely on a new timeline for sure.
100%. So I know there's been a lot of, I've been watching a lot of stuff on Gaia and Gaia programming, but also the predictions that certain channelers and stuff have had with the astrological alignments. When do you think would be the best time, or when do you think disclosure or actually contact may take place?
Well, contact has been actually happening. There are a lot of people getting contacted. I'll give you an example. Chris Bledsoe from North Carolina. I mean, he's a perfect example of that. And what they're doing is they're testing the waters. They're going to people in communities that they know are not going to be afraid or understand it. And so that's what they're doing. What I got intuitively in a deep meditation I did about a year ago is 2027 is massive disclosure. But what I mean by that is we're going to look up and see all kinds of spacecraft that are not ours. This year in particular, starting in February, we may see a lot more sightings because we're going through Aquarius, which is about space. but also again in August, July and August, there's a very good possibility more information continues to be pouring out. Notice how these government agencies are now all coming forward. All these people are coming forward, and they've been doing it at a lot faster rate because we have to understand this part of humanity, that we are not alone, that just outside of our doorway right there is another community that you cannot see. They're living in another reality right outside our doorway. So, they're setting us up. What they've been waiting for is what I've gotten intuitively is the reason that it was a slow rollout is because we have all these religious concepts and ideas of what reality is, and they don't want to shock the system. Could you imagine if 100 crafts showed up tomorrow over New York City? Right away, what that would, people begin to question their own reality. And then let's just say these beings, and they're human like we are, start saying, my friends, my brothers and sisters, you've been lied to from day one. Your religions have lied to you, have manipulated you. What's going to happen to Christianity, Judaism, all these other religions? They're all going to start scratching their heads going, what the hell? What? And so they didn't want to come in too fast, too quickly. But because of the higher frequencies and the energies and all these younger kids and all these awake people, they have to come in and make a difference, or at least show humanity that you're not alone, and that this area, this UFO, extraterrestrial stuff is going to accelerate, and they're going to do it quite quickly as it begins to accelerate. What I mean by that is, look at Mexico. Mexico has so many sightings down there, and people don't go crazy. They don't, it's not a big deal to them. There were hundreds of ships that showed up over Mexico City a couple of years ago. Do you remember that, brother?
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, they're going to do that more than likely in over major cities. Matter of fact, I had my own UFO encounter in Colorado last year. Where I was it was amazing. Do I have a minute to share it with you?
Yeah, crush it, dude. Absolutely.
I'm sitting here in front of my computer. It's 1:00 in the afternoon in Colorado. I'm in an RV park, and something inside my head said, go outside and look up. I said, okay. I go outside, I look up, and what's up there? A jellyfish-looking UFO. And first I'm looking at it going, is that a paper bag? Is that a balloon? What the hell is this freaking thing? Right. And it was huge. It was between two clouds. And I mean, I knew exactly where to look up and everything. I was trying to communicate with it. And I went back in, I got my binoculars out, and it stood there for like 15 minutes. And what I got intuitively, it was just saying, we're here to let you know we are here. There was not, it was a scout craft. There was no human in it. It was a scout craft. And it was basically just confirming to me or telling me or showing me that it recognized me and I recognized it. And it basically says, we're here, not, no concerns. We're here. We're watching. We know what's going on. There are many of us here. That's what I got. And it was all in my head because that's how they communicate. Right. So, and then after 15 minutes, it just disappeared. I mean, but it was very obvious. And then a few weeks later, I'm listening to another channeler or another UFO researcher. And he says, yeah, they come in all shapes and sizes. And some even look like jellyfish. I'm like, no shit.
I think that's the plasma discharge. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's exactly. The plasma that moves through the magnetic field.
It looked like a giant jellyfish without the legs, and it was hovering there. It was translucent. And it did not move. The wind was not blowing it. The clouds were moving, but this thing was not moving. So, and I saw it up close with the binoculars. So I knew this was translucent, but it was a message. That's the kind of stuff we're going to continue to see more and more of. And then eventually the big ships start to show, and that because we know we can handle it at that point. But this year, we're going to start seeing more of that. We're going to start seeing more of these smaller crafts. We're going to start seeing more information being channeled. And then in 2027, I think is the great reveal where there's just a whole bunch of, you can't deny it anymore. Every city will have major, UFOs hovering over it. And like, what the hell are these drones? Are they fake?
Well,
deny it anymore.
The environment that we live out here in Sedona, in this area, there is a lot of contact. There is a lot of, every single night, we see movement. If you have the class 4 night vision goggles, you look up in the sky at night here in Sedona, all you see is ships flying around all night long. It's not like an abnormal thing. What I can say is for some of us that I've been practicing and working and kind of we're activated, didn't really wake up, but we're activated. I feel that a lot of the processing for some of us has really increased because they want us to make sure that we're up and ready when there is contact, that they have viable vessels that are balanced and are not in fear to translate some of the messages that will be coming from Galactic Command and Earth Alliance. I also feel there's going to be responsibility placed upon some of our shoulders, your audience and mine, right? And many of that's going to be, stop pretending. Are you ready to activate and remember who you are now? A lot of us have been pretending the entire time we've been here. I've been awake for 16 years. I've been staring through my third eye for 16 years, right? So some of the people may not know who I am if you're watching me for the first time on Joseph's channel. But I woke up in 2009. So that being stated, some of us, and you may be one of us, like as far as a real starseed, there is something that as far as contact, it's not just going to be, oh, wow, you're looking in the backyard. Wow, that's interesting. That night you may be visited. There may be, if you're aware enough, you go OBE or your astral body, you're in council meetings. You're being trained on ship. You're interacting with different species. You're learning about the Galactic Council. You're learning about who's on the council. It's not just some random thing. You're like, oh, that's an Andromedan ship. Oh, that's a Palladian ship. Oh, that's an Arcturian ship. Oh, I know what that symbol is. That all of this data compression is going to start unlocking as your dormant DNA is activated. So I think there's a lot of scholastic knowledge that will be shared from individually between you and your higher selves, and to pay attention to the daily discipline that is necessary to maintain a high frequency and vibration, to get those messages, to remember your dreams, right? Whether it be a slight change in your diet, maybe it be making sure that you get out every day and ground and charge from the sun. Maybe it be more trips to the gym and less to the bag of Cheetos in the pantry. Whatever that may be for you, making jokes for Joseph's people, making jokes. Hi, yes, I have a personality. Yes, I know them a lot. What I'm getting to is that there's something going on in your soul. And once your soul calls you home, regardless of what distraction is around you, you're going to go into that place, if that makes sense. It's no longer like, like I said, your soul's billions of years old, right? Let's just say, right? And we really are a part of source. A lot of people like to say, oh, we have the source of God in us. Well, what is God for you? Well, it could be the creator of all things. The creator of all things lives within you. So when the creator of all things wishes to interact in your reality and wants to call you home, I can promise you, you're going to listen one way or the other. What I like, I'll leave you with this. This is my little tip for everyone out there. I'll call this the 1, 2, 3 frying pan analogy. You'll feel in your intuition, hey, maybe I should stop doing this. Maybe I should try something else. Maybe there's something in my life that I shouldn't be doing. They'll warn you once, your intuition. You feel it in your tum-tum. Level 1 warning. Level 2, maybe your intuitions, you're getting the weird dreams. You're feeling intuition. You're feeling it in your heart and your chakras. And your higher selves are like, hey, man, stop doing that. Whatever that may be for you out there, okay? Don't stop doing that. Then you'll get to level 3. It's called the frying pan, okay? That means something happens. It feels like you got hit over the head with the frying pan, meaning you crashed the car, you lost the job, you lost the girl, you did something, you actually had a penalty box situation happen to you. We call that the frying pan, okay? In life, you don't have to wait to get hit in the head with a frying pan. Some of us have learned in our in our spiritual wisdom. You tell me one time, my higher self tells me one time, hey, they're cool, give them time. I'm like, love you. Okay, you're cool. I got a whole space for you now. I listened the first time. You don't need to warn me a second time or hit me in the head with the energetic frying pan. When you really are truly in spirit and you're in the flow, let the universe in spirit guide you where you need to be, and let go of your ego trying to control you to think this is how you were trained by your environment, mommy, daddy, this place, and this is the way it has to be. Let go of that belief system, because you may find, which my brother Joseph brings up all the time, that there is a very high probability, 99.9999%, that a lot of the things we were taught here in the physical are wrong. We were taught things that were lies to serve certain motivations of certain groups that wanted to keep you brainwashed and asleep so they could control you, right? And kind of take over this planet. So we're just trying to be honest with you. Some of us have been awake for quite some time, and to hold space for your friends. And just remember, you don't have to wait for a level 3 frying pan to get the lesson plan. You can get it on the first try. Okay. So how do you feel about that, brother?
I totally agree. Absolutely. And that's what these times are all about. It's the energy increasing, the awareness increasing, and then you have to make a choice. Because this is the same thing I've been getting intuitively. You know, like I said at the beginning, I get messages all the time, but I've learned to decode them. I learned to understand them. And one of the messages is that, you know, follow your bliss, go down the path, you know, manifest, because the frequencies are increasing. So we have to basically start realizing we're in a transition right now. We're in an awakening process right now. And that means everything, but it starts with our belief systems. And then it's going to go down to religions. It's going to go down to governments. It's going to go down to financial systems, all of that stuff. But we have to participate in this, is what I'm getting at. And it doesn't have to be chaotic and stupid and crazy, because that's what the controllers want. Obviously, more chaos. But those of us of the light, or TeamLight, are here to make a difference and say, no, we're not playing into that dark stuff.
No,
we're not playing. we're not playing your game anymore.
No.
You know, and so we are here to make a difference at this time. And there's no holding back. This is the year we must participate in. 2026 is unlike any other year. Any astrologer will tell you this, any mystic, remote viewer. This is the year of great change, great awakening. And it all starts in February of 2026.
Let's get it.
This is it. It's only what, a week away, a couple of weeks away.
A couple of weeks away. I know. I just keep looking like, are we there yet? So for everyone out there on planet Earth, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys here today for our 2026 predictions and updates. And I'm sending love to everyone in the comments. Love you guys. If you guys are new, hey, love you. Love you, baby. And, you know, Joseph, was there anything else you wanted to share? I know you have some of your descriptions where people can find you in the descriptions. What are some of the places where people can get at you?
Well, my YouTube channel, obviously, Astrologer Joe. That's where I do my live casts. And, you know, I do a lot of videos there on a monthly basis, keeping people informed, you know. My personal websites, planetswithin.com is one, Joseph P. Anthony's another. And then I have my own private community, you know, on school /inner, what is it? Truth Seeker,
Yeah.
Truth Seeker, where we really go down the rabbit hole down there, you know, and we talk about extraterrestrials, dimensions, realities, control mechanism, you name it. So, I mean, you know, if you feel that you have a connection, you'll find me and we'll connect, and you'll be a part of my community as well as Rion's. We're basically here to help others, you know, awaken. That's what we're here to do.
100%. If you guys want that, it's in all the descriptions on all the platforms. And check out TeamLightStore.com if you guys are planning to not only come out to Sedona May 8th through the 10th for Rise of the Guardians, but we also have different technology and stuff there to help you guys remember your dreams, protect your property, and awaken quickly. Let's just say it's a much more accelerated awakening for you. And you guys can find that at TeamLightStore.com. With that, brother, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. And for everyone out there on Earth, we love you. Buckle up. 2026 is going to be one for the record books. Till next time. Peace.
Turn off the light, take a deep breath, and relax.
From the stars we came, ancient souls awake, Pleiadian light. Releasing karma, old densities fade, crystals humming, sacred grids remade, vibrational shift from 3D to 5D and beyond. Galactic family, eternal bond. Ascending now to the 7th dimension.